Bella, welcome to Bella Uncinetto. I'm Christina, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. I think we're just a little crooked. Yeah, maybe a little. I don't know. Let's see. Sorry for all the moving, guys. Hold on, I'm going to move you up just a little bit. Close your eyes. Oh, just kidding. Let me see. I think that's better. Okay, maybe you're a little straighter now. Okay, so today we are here to talk about fiber arts on screen. This is a series that I started to just show some of the variety of fiber artistry that we see in TV show and movies across time, right? So today I'm going to focus on classic cinema. And when I say classic cinema, some people might be like, hey, that was when I was born, or that was when I was a teenager. I'm using what the internet is classifying as classic cinema. Because I know that it really hurts my heart when my students say, oh yeah, that happened in the 1900s. I was born then. So, I'm not trying to put anything in a box necessarily. I'm just, as I'm researching, this is the parameter that it was put in, because I know that one of the movies that I'm going to talk about was made after my mom was born. And I don't see my mom as a particularly old person, right? I see her as, I mean, she's older than me, but I also don't feel particularly old. But when my students say something like, oh yeah, the year 2002 was over 20 years ago, I'm like, ouch. I mean, it's true, but it still hurts. Because I was a teenager then. It's a little painful, friends. Not incorrect, but still painful. So I want to preface the movies that I'm sharing and how I'm classifying them as classical cinema, because that's where they are currently placed, right? They could be current in your mind because you saw them when you were younger. One of them I saw when I was younger. The other two I went to watch as I was researching this. I was like, okay, well, let me look those up and see if I can find them. And I did watch them. But I had not heard of them before today. Before the day that I watched them. Not today. I was like, today is the day that I'm filming. I'm sorry, you guys. I am batch recording, and I am just in 1,000 different places right now. So I have 3 movies that I want to share with you, and I'm going to do them in chronological order of when they were produced, not necessarily when they were set. So we'll see. The first one, and I'm gonna pull up my notes. So if you see me looking off, it's because I have a document that I typed up, so I didn't forget my thoughts, because I am talking about 3 things. So let me find it. Okay, so the first one is the 1940 movie The Letter. Now this letter was set. This letter. This movie was set on a rubber plantation. Yes. And in a British colony. And the wife of the plantation owner is played by Bette Davis. And while I'm talking, some pictures will pop up on the screen. And in this film, she does a lot of having to take up for herself, let's just say. Um, and while I'm trying not to give too much away. Anyway, okay, so somebody's murdered, right? And uh, the plantation owner is murdered. And so Bette Davis is on trial and her name is Leslie in the movie. She's being interrogated and questioned. And during this time, she's crocheting, okay? And she's furiously working on this thing. And um, you find out that it's supposed to be a bedspread. And um, you don't actually see all of the pieces put together, but she is actively working on this. However, in my research, I did find out that the item that was made during that film was later used in other films, as often was the case and still is the case in some instances. It was used as a veil in a couple of wedding um, parts of films. It was also used as like a um, overlay to a gown, which I couldn't find a picture of, but I did see mentioned in description. So whoever made it, whether it was actually Bette Davis or someone offset, it was very beautiful. So I'm glad that I watched the movie. It was very interesting, black and white film, and I thought that it was. I mean, there were parts of it where now cinema nowadays, right, that could have been done differently, but that was what they had back then, and it was still a good movie for even today's standards. Like, I enjoyed it, right? Um, so then the next movie, let's see, go. Okay, so the next movie is in 1943, and that is Mr. Lucky. And there is a character, Joe Adams, who's played by Cary Grant. Okay, and he is a gambler, and he takes on someone else's identity. Now, during this time, um, the draft was going on, and the identity that he takes is someone who was a draft dodger, so was trying to not go into the service for war. And he wants to raise money for his gambling, and he wants to swindle or take advantage of the war relief organization. But he falls in love with one of the workers, and things go in a different way. But during the um, movie, he is actively learning to knit, right? Because he's trying to keep up his persona of being this person who wants to raise money for the war effort. And you can see um, that there is some fumbling in the knitting, whether that was real or acting, whether he was really trying to figure it out or not, I don't know. But it is entertaining to watch. I mean, I don't knit, I don't know how to knit, but even just watching people knit, I'm like, that is a different skill set, right? So I think even if someone is pretending to learn, it's still going to take a lot of concentration to keep whatever they were given from falling off of the needles, right? Because you have all the loops on both sides and you're trying to like make the stitch by taking one off and putting one on a different pattern. So it was entertaining to watch for sure. So before I go into the last one, let me know, have you seen either of those movies? Have you seen anything else by the two performers that I've talked about, Bette Davis and Cary Grant? They were prolific um, actors. They did a lot of different things. So, do you have a favorite Cary Grant or Bette Davis film? put it in the comments below. And let me know if you've seen The Letter or Mr. Lucky and what you thought about it. Okay? So the last one, let me just scroll down here. This is a more well-known movie. And this is... We're back, I think? Yeah? Okay, sorry, I accidentally clicked out of everything. This is the one that I have seen before. I actually watched it with my mom and with two of my aunts. It's part of the editing process that really frustrates me. I was editing a video and realized that somehow I pressed pause, so you didn't get to see all of the things. So I was talking about watching a movie with my mom and two of my aunts. The movie is Breakfast at Tiffany's. And this movie came out right after my mom was born. So, one of my aunts was the oldest sister. So she was already, you know, pretty close to being a grown up by the time the movie came out. And then my mom was born, and then almost 10 years later, the other aunt that I watched the movie with was born. So in watching this movie, because I definitely was born way after all of them, it was interesting to see their perspectives on things that were happening in the movie. Because if you've never seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is a very popular movie, there is the main character, Holly. She is a New York socialite, and she is taken care of by wealthy men. And then she meets this man who is taken care of by a wealthy woman. And things kind of get turned on their head, right? And at one point, Holly tries to show that she can do domestic things. So she tries to take up knitting. And in this part of the movie, we see this weirdly shaped red object with yarn and knitting needles attached to it. And she is trying to show that she can do things around the house. And it's interesting because there were times when I was researching where it was mentioning whether or not certain actresses or actors were knitters. So knowing which ones were and were not knitters and how they reacted with the items on screen was interesting. So I am going to pop out of this, and by the time you get to the next one, it will pop back in and it will be talking about how I did this in 3 sections because I kept turning the camera off. It's just a wild video all around. But so it'll actually be 4 segments because I had to pop in and make this one because somehow I screwed it up again. But the joys of editing, I can do this, move the segment, pop this in. You'll know the difference because I'm in different clothes. But we're going to go back to past me now where I'm talking about something else. Okay? I'll see you guys later. Take 3. Okay, so I am sorry that this has been so helter-skelter, but I am so glad that I was able to bring you this episode. These 3 movies, I guess that's why I did it in 3 portions. That's not really why I did it in 3 portions. I kept clicking the wrong thing. But these 3 movies were... I did go back and watch Breakfast at Tiffany's just because I watched the other 2 movies. And it brought back a lot of memories and smiles to my face because not only did I remember watching it, but I remembered watching it with my family. And some of the things that my aunts and my mom would tell me, because one of my aunts was the oldest, right? And so she was already close to being a grown-up by the time the movie came out. My mom was 3? No, 2 when the movie came out? 2 or 3 when the movie came out. And then the other aunt that I was watching the movie with wasn't even born yet. So um, it was an interesting perspective to watch it with all three of them because I definitely wasn't born anytime near the movie, right? But just to have all of their different perspectives while we were watching the movie and then to be able to share that with you all is very special to me. But let me know in the comments what you think of all three of these movies, all three of these performers, actors, actresses, whatever you want to call them. And I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. Now I have to piece it all together and try to make it work. So, um, I hope that this has been good for you. And until I see you again, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao, Bella.